Доброе утро, уважаемые коллеги.
Good morning, dear colleague. I'm happy to greet you here today. Where is your master? Good afternoon. Dear colleagues, we are starting our panel session. It is dedicated to the single business space of SEO in BRICS and partnership of business circles. Today we have a lot of speakers, and I hope that our panel session will be fruitful and intense. The thing is that we wanted to have one more speaker who is dedicated to the SEO business development. He has been a regular guest of our sessions, and he was going to talk about the challenges that the business space of SEO is facing. He would like to point out the projects dedicated to the development of the SEO space, such as digitalization, such as development of agriculture by means of digitalization. He was going to talk about the opportunities for economic development and of partnership and with countries all over the world. This guest puts a lot of efforts to support our business, and he is a patron of our activities, and I guess that this guest is going to take the floor during the plenary session. Besides, I would like to greet the participants of our event. Mr. Bakhtiyar Hakimov, yesterday we were speaking about this conversation, and he said that in 2020 it was SEO and BRICS year, and a lot of SEO organizations was responsible for organization of different events, and we conducted all the events that planned. We conducted business forum of SEO. We conducted the meeting of the Council of SEO. And we were majorly focused on the business points and issues. I hope that today we will also have a fruitful work. Mr. Hakimov asked me to tell that we conducted the Russian national part of the Council of Head of States. It was a video conference, and this conference took really important decisions. Among those, there was a decision to conduct a strategy of development in UFA that will be valid until 2025. On November the 10th, Russia led a video call. They were speaking about the enhancement of the strategy. The strategy was complemented with the plans and certain solutions. And these solutions are vital for us as the Business Council, because these solutions aim at better and more efficient businesses. The minutes of this council meeting is the leading document for us. During the Council of States of Governments of States issued a report, and that event also provided for taking vital solutions in terms of international economic cooperations. They adopted orders about events that should be facilitated by the Business Council in terms of trade and commerce. The prospects is the following. The next year will be led by Tajikistan, and the lead role will be given to the government and the Business Council of the Republic of Tajikistan. And Jamshed Jumakhonzada is going to be the new leader. So where is your boss? Good afternoon, dear colleagues. My boss said that he is returning from another event. Okay, let it be. Then we will give him the floor a little bit later. He will be one of the first to take the floor. Later on, I'm going to speak about the initiatives adopted by the Republic of Tajikistan in terms of certain events. And I'd like to point out the events that are especially interesting for us. And I'd like to give the floor to another leader of the Business Council. I would like to give the floor to the Republic of Uzbekistan and Mr. Adham Ikramov. This year, we are speaking about the promotion of new initiatives. And you and the Ministry of Business Development, Economic Development are raising the issues that are very vital because they deal with digitalization and development of remote territories. I know that you are one of the leading experts who initiate many projects within the economic development strategies in Uzbekistan. And I would like to learn your opinion about the paths of cooperation of business circles and business in general. Can you see the way we can combine the communication and the collaboration of these networks? You're welcome. Mr. Ikramov, we can't hear you. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, dear colleagues. Our SEO space is presented in all the time zones. Therefore, I think our conversation is so important. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, for introducing the Business Council of SEO. Can we hear me? Yeah. The head of the Republic of Bashkortostan, CCI of the Republic of Bashkortostan are all presented here. Yeah, good afternoon, I'm here. I'm glad to see you. I would like to express my gratitude for giving me a chance to speak online. I'm about 1,200 kilometers away from the capital city. But my deputy is in Tashkent, and he is taking part in the project and the strategy of our business in terms of this event. The situation caused by the pandemic is the following. Dear moderators, could you please remove the presentation? We are going to go back to it about the fifth minute of my presentation. Mr. Jumakhonzada is my partner, and I would like to share the floor with him. We will invite him later. Thank you. This year, we have a lot of events and initiatives, including those included by the moderator, but it faced alteration due to the pandemic. And we acknowledge that Russia and SCO countries are the major partners of Uzbekistan. And I would like to express my gratitude to our partners, our business partners, for being friendly, for being responsive, and for being helpful while we were manually managing the situation of the pandemic, because no one was ready to such a pandemic. As it was said before, I was honored to visit the summit of heads of states. I was representing my country, and all together we were presenting our own country, and we were listening to Mr. Katirin during the SCO Council. And I must say that everything is now being implemented through the perspective that it is important to restructure the form of the Council. We have to point out the role of Mr. Hemka from India and the Business Council from Pakistan and from Business Council of our neighbors. I would like to quote the speech of Mr. Jumakhonzada. We were speaking about the recovery of supply chains between Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, and we managed to sort this issue out. It means that all the ministries of the countries really listened to the opinion of the business councils. And though the majority of our events were held online, Tajikistan regularly sends 100 businessmen as a delegation to our countries to take part in the Business Forum Commission. I would like to express my gratitude to the Business Council of Tajikistan and personally my colleague. I remember our cooperation with Bashkortostan, and I believe that only the pandemic wave managed to cover us all and delineate us from one another. And that's why we had to suspend certain issues that we were sorting out. And the head of the Russian Federation and our head of state have been telling that during the pandemic we're doing our utmost to maintain the supply chains, and we were exchanging medical professionals. I think that there are many examples of such a fruitful collaboration. And there is a topic that the moderator was speaking about. I mean, when we implement our digitalization in Uzbekistan, we started before the pandemic, and we thought that on January 24th, 2020, we will have the year of digitalization. Today, thanks to digitalization, we are able to communicate both online and offline. And throughout the pandemic, we revealed the survivability of SMEs. And we see how technologies facilitated the business. And our business councils use these technologies to predict the change of innovations, because throughout 9 months of pandemic we realized how important it is to have these digitalization tools. During the digitalization, it is important to develop e-commerce. We are passionate about the e-commerce. During the year of the Russian Federation, I was inspired by the experience of the Russian Federation in the development of e-commerce. I was happy to get the experience of Mr. Mishustin, and it made me think that we should borrow the experience of leading countries in the sphere of e-commerce handling, both in SCO and BRICS. I would like to share my experience, what we do in our CCI, we opened the University of Internship there, an Institute of Economics and Technology, and we pay a lot of attention to the e-commerce. I would like to express my gratefulness to our colleagues from Turkey who allowed us in Tashkent to open such an institution. Speaking about the digitalization, I think I should recommend the Business Council to adopt the suggestions made by Uzbekistan during the summit of heads of states. And we should spread these solutions across SEO and BRICS space. You, dear moderator, were also one of the participants of this summit, so you understand how interesting and effective it is to use online platforms during the implementation of projects. And I'm happy that Russian Federation was the leader of the previous year of the Business Council. Speaking briefly about the slide that you showed before, you can see the business and trading cooperation among SEO countries.
That is the latest available information on the Russian Federation, China, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan. We have 10 key trade partners, and we are building up relations with Pakistan and trade networks with this country. We also established the branch of the Institute of Entrepreneurship in the Trade Chamber, which accommodates the states of India. We also established the branch of the Institute of Entrepreneurship. Over 300 joint entrepreneurships will be a training value for developing these domains. We have to pay our attention to these partner countries of the SCO and BRICS, which invest in one another in the economy of our countries. And we also have to focus on the trade industry chamber. The next slide shows that we have the SCO countries, and more than 5,000 countries are having the enterprises which are involved in them, and they have foreign capital and direct foreign investment. Let me thank the moderator and Bashkortostan for this initiative. And let me offer some other directions. First and foremost, we are to use digital technology. The first quarter of the following year will also be rather hard, and we'll also use e-commerce for business commerce, and we will also contribute to the business community of our country. We'll intensify interaction in the area of investment technology and implement the investment projects within the context of the SCO. It would gain momentum for promoting e-commerce online platforms. And it will increase the turnover between countries, and we will intensify the cooperation in the trade area. We will counteract the impending elements of protectionism and increase our capacities based on cooperation of the countries in the area of official trade of the SCO and BRICS, so that our businessmen could freely compete in the marketplace of our countries. Let me express my gratitude to Vladimir Molnarov, the Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Bakhtiar Nasimov, the government of Bashkortostan, to Timur Hakimov, our friend, the President of Trade Industry Chambers of Bashkortostan, the part of the Council of the Russian Federation. Thank you for this initiative. We monitor the success of our partners, and thank you for your attention. Thank you. Definitely, we have already mentioned that it is surprising that the entrepreneurs benefited from the pandemic if they could go ahead and if they could implement their claims in the area of digitalization, if they projected viable products and vital industry and product promotion in the market. The future may be implemented by those who think of the future. Good afternoon, Jim Kazan. Yes, we welcome you. You know that you are always involved in business and you switch from one event to another one. Next year, you'll gain presidency in the Business Council, and we would like to greet you in this position. Let me highlight that the Republic of Tajikistan is actively engaged in the presidency. It was engaged even before transferring certain power, and it started offering its initiatives on online exhibitions. Please take the floor and tell us which essential points you can see in operations of SME and development of the SCO and BRICS countries, because you'll be the backbone of our ideas. Thank you. Thank you, Sergei. Thank you, dear colleagues. It is my honor and privilege to give you my presentation. Let me tell you that sorry that I'm late, and let me express my gratitude to the government of the Republic of Bashkortostan, to the Secretary of the SCO, the national part of the Business Council, the Russian Federation, for organizing this event. Over the previous period, we carried out a few important meetings within the SCO, and each of these meetings is material to us. We gain useful information which will be used in practical terms in such areas as digitalization, e-commerce, to name a few. Currently, the Republic of Tajikistan is focused on digitalization at the highest level. The experience of our colleagues of the SCO is of prime importance for us. When it comes to the support of small and medium-sized entrepreneurs, from the perspective of the CCI, let me highlight that most enterprises of Tajikistan are included in the SME area, and it is our top priority to support these enterprises which were exposed to these changes. Given the fact that we experienced this negative impact of the pandemic of COVID-19 this year, it was truly detrimental to the SME. The CCI and the Republic of Tajikistan did its utmost to support these enterprises. We also implemented the governmental program aimed at upholding the SME. We provided them with different privileges and benefits. There were also some tax exceptions, tax exemptions, and credit benefits which affected it in a positive fashion. What is currently happening? Unfortunately, the situation with the COVID-19 is still taking place, and according to the forecast of some experts of this area, this situation should change differently in April or May 2021, or maybe at the end of the following year. We rely on the best. Still, we also consider the pessimistic forecast because we have to think of the future, and we are now drafting our proposals with other structures. Let me highlight the important items on supporting the SME. What has the CCI done? Let me say from the outset that that our members do not have to pay their membership fees. We introduced the hotline, as well as a few online platforms on presenting products of the SME. It was the first time when we launched the platform on promoting cloud products in an online format. Let me also express my gratitude to my colleagues who contributed to spread information on the online exhibition which occurred in Tajikistan. We initiated online platforms in Tajikistan for the first time. Hopefully, we will keep promoting these platforms. Moreover, we fostered the SME of Tajikistan by means of promoting their projects via international organizations. We initiated our work in Tajikistan by means of donation community. We involved all the international organizations in contribution of supporting to the support of SME. And the experience of our colleagues is of prime importance for us. The experience of our neighbors on SME support also matters. We ought to accommodate the current situation and intensify the work of e-commerce. I have already informed our colleagues that the CCI was the basis for creating the project on promoting e-commerce, electronic commerce. And our initiative was appreciated by the government and by the community and the business community of the Republic of Tajikistan. We will carry out the first session in the foreseeable future, accommodating our neighboring countries. The area of e-commerce in Tajikistan is currently being enhanced. Still, there is no particular regulation system aimed at this domain, and we would like this process to be regulated in the area of taxation and in other areas. This wouldn't hamper the development of e-commerce. Many stores are going to the online format. Let me also highlight that this area should be regulated, and it should be regulated given the rights of the consumers. We rely on the support of our colleagues of the SCO.
We would like to point out how SCO countries facilitate small and medium businesses. They provide facilitation by thinking through the abstraction for the business. I suggest us surveying the current internships, and we want them to tell us what problems they face when they cooperate with other SMEs. We want to analyze and we want to manage the issues that they face through SEO. We want to use our commissions to help them settle these problems. I guess it is vitally important. I guess it will facilitate also the cooperation among our countries. And you can make your suggestions. Thank you. Really, we are having a pretty interesting discussion because every part, every sphere offers certain solutions for the problems caused by the pandemic, for settling issues caused by the conflicts among the businesses. Regularly, we think about various projects. One of them is a multifunctional trading platform. There is another interesting project, and we would like to listen to Mr. Batalov from Kazakhstan. He really often outruns the movement of the Business Council. In 2007, he offered the Council to discuss the problem of mutual reciprocative investments. Now I'd like to ask Ms. Isakova to present the projects mentioned by Oleg Anvarovich during the council meeting. I would like the speakers to maintain the timing, because otherwise not everyone will have a chance to speak. So, Ms. Isakova, the floor is yours. My name is Yana Isakova. I am the head of the Family Business Association. I'd like to tell you about the project that we are implementing, as we are the part of SEO office. But we need you to take part in it. So, can't I switch the presentation myself? No. Okay. So just say next slide, please. Okay. So this is the information that is not a secret at all. I think in your countries you all face the fact that business events this year were not as intense and not as fruitful as it used to be before, for example, in 2019, or previously. Next slide, please. We know why. Next slide. When we analyze the efficiency of events in business sphere and the events that are being held in Kazakhstan, we revealed the following aspects. So events went online, but online didn't allow to cooperate efficiently as it was during the offline forums. So we had to boost this efficiency. We were cooperating with our international partners and conducted a range of researches. We realized that the information at one place and the information is specific are major requirements of the business community to the event. We analyzed the inquiries and requests of businessmen. And with regards thereto, we invite you to join the project. And we want this project to be presented in every single country. This is the service called Business Event Network. This service unites information of all the business events. It is a specific topic service. It has no information about the local fests or festivals. It's only about the business and experts. What we want is to work within the Family Business Association, and we see that small business lacks the consulting services because it's too much expensive, but it can be affordable by the big businesses. So we are looking for those experts who can provide high-quality consulting services, but at a considerable price or free of charge. We want to list the events that will allow SMEs to boost their efficiency, both from the business point of view and from the professional point of view. And we want to list the experts that are ready to be a part of this project and work with the small businesses. We want to engage local experts because there are local companies in Kazakhstan who are interested in the partnership with Uzbekistan, for example, and Tajikistan, but they don't know whom to go to. They don't know how to find a partner, what to do. And we offer creating a platform that will save time, that will help to build such relations quickly. This platform will allow to implement different directions of business, for example, business tourism. It means that if you cannot physically go anywhere, our users of our platform or service will be able to work through the representatives locally, through representatives in your countries. What we do on this platform, we gather the database of experts. We allow the access to entrepreneurs to this platform, and we allow them to exchange their experience with the partners.
What rich record of achievements do we have? We have 30,000 users, we have 11 member states, and approximately 8,000 placed events. The next slide. At present, this service consists of a free mobile application and a website. We hope that this website will be in place in each country and it will unite the sovereign events. Entering this website, people will know that they will manage to discover all the business events. We have found lots of partners in Kazakhstan who are interested in it. We are ready to share our expertise and the methods and tools with which we work in state bodies and different social bodies. Yana, thank you. Thank you. It was really expedient, Manama, and you can talk on this subject because we also have the CDS department, which is currently covering these problems, and your initiative is combined with the initiative of the Business Council. We will make references to these opportunities so that people could enter it before the group uniting these efforts emerges. Still, we will already have a chance to develop and to forge this partnership. Timur. Yes, I have a request. Yana, we had a presentation. This project is really interesting. Thank you for your perfect presentation, for your preparation. We realize that you have drive for this project. If you are interested in cooperation with Uzbekistan, we are exposed to see you online. Yes, I'll do it with pleasure. Let us switch our systems and let us also involve the Ufa platform, St. Petersburg platform, and the Chinese platform, so that the system of interaction, of input, of launching the enterprises at the external market could function within the Business Council. Timur, let me address you. Some of our participants have already covered your activity, the activity of the CCI of the Republic of Bashkortostan within the context of economic cooperation. Let me give you the floor. Could you please tell us how you succeed in being so active and what is the deliverable of this activity? Which plans do you have for the future? Thank you, dear participants of the Distant platform. I'm delighted to welcome you at the fields of the traditional business of the SCO and BRICS. It is the 6th time when the government of Bashkortostan accommodates us, and we address complicated topics. Despite the difficult epidemiological situation, we are conducting our forum according to all the preventive measures. We have already discussed that we have finished some forums, some platforms. Evidently, we managed to carry out 22 international receptions of Russian and foreign delegations. We managed to go to Kazakhstan, to Uzbekistan, to Romania, to go to Turkey. We also managed to communicate with the entrepreneurship community. Over 40 international business meetings took place during the pandemic. We are proud of the fact that the government of the Republic of Bashkortostan has organized the forum, the first offline urban forum, which occurred in Ufa, and it was truly successful according to all the experts. I'm sure that all the new ideas and proposals on inter-regional cooperation will be discussed during the forum, and it will allow us to mitigate the negative impact of the pandemic on regional economies. The CCI is actively involved in drafting the anti-crisis measures on business facilitation. Now RRB is the largest business unit, which is providing over 300 business services. The members of the chamber are small legal entities and also the largest taxpayers of the Republic of Bashkortostan. Last year, the CCI took the first place on the number of congresses and exhibitions and international forums. This year heralds our anniversary. Today we celebrate its 30th anniversary. We will also have the expanded session of the CCI in which the head of the Republic will be involved. You may also be present there. We will have more detailed reports on the Chamber's activity in 2020. Prior to the anniversary, we celebrated it, and we also enacted the law which expands the potential of the business development. We have also passed the law of the State Duma by direction of the President of the RF, aimed at increasing the missions of the Russian Federation. According to the federal law, we are part of the infrastructures aimed at supporting the SME. Business partnership in terms of entrepreneurship support is one of the key areas of economic cooperation in the market space of the SCO and BRICS. And we cannot imagine this cooperation without active involvement of business units who are key conductors of interests and of necessities of the entrepreneurship community. In order to increase the business circles of the space is currently involved in business exhibitions and other forums and events jointly with Goskombes, the Republic of Bashkortostan. It is the second year when we are deploying the project of Bashkortostan, and the main mission is helping the Bashkortostan enterprises. We're also participating in tenders. We realized that this digitalization was even topical last year, and each member of the chamber may enter it, and this system of transfer is operating here, and we are providing all these services aimed at business invitations, such as accompanying the verifying our counterparties for trustworthiness. We conduct different certificate expertises and grant certificates. We should have imagined the decrease in export, but our export did increase by 13%. I mean, the members of the trade chamber. The representatives of business circles of the SCO and BRICS countries are also involved. In 2030, the Chamber of the Republic organized the events with the representatives of Tajikistan, India, Kyrgyzstan. Dear participants of the discussion, we are now aimed at creating the interregional cooperation and comfortable conditions for the following directions. Let me finalize my presentation. First and foremost, we are contributing to the business of foreign trade. We outlined the necessity, the need for goods and products, and we also now have a chance to mitigate risks. We should work out the tools for increasing trust between the participants of the SCO and BRICS countries. For example, we may create the online platform for verifying the trustworthiness of counterparties. And our business units are also engaged in this platform, which will allow us to streamline interaction between the countries which have access to the system, and we may process the applications for the business, which will allow us to curtail our costs. It is also the matter of the digitalization. The more dynamic development may be provided to halal. We have just finalized the discussion platform where we could see the representatives of spiritual administration of the Muslims. Why did I decide to touch upon this direction? In October 2020, we signed an agreement with the Institute of Standards and Methodology for Islamic Countries. It is an international organization handling 57 countries. It is the second country after the UN in terms of the number of these countries. We're the only organization in the RF which has a treaty with this organization, and all the halal standards were provided to us, and we can now elaborate on these standards. We're doing it in order to make our products enter the international markets. And we're the only chamber in the system of chambers of the RF which is registered in Rosstandard. The certificates of halal may be granted. Our specialists underwent the education in this area, and they got the certificates of international level. We cannot just go to events giving advice on in the area of manufacturing products. We also have the legal and financial guarantee on the prohibited drugs and some other substances which are prohibited according to halal. Another point of growth of regional economies is increasing the investment activity, which will allow us to create the club of investors of the SCO and BRICS regions. We created this similar one in Bashkortostan. Hopefully it will be more productive. And we may also include the proposals on personal composition of participants, and which will be notched up by the communities of the SCO and BRICS. And the third direction is cooperation in the area of regional economy, which is also associated with implementation of digital products. We have more than 4,000 applications in the CCI aimed at foreign workforce, let alone the construction sector. In order to provide the enterprises with the employees, the CCI initiated the creation of the Center of Labor Migration in Bashkortostan, and our chamber is the only license carrier of implementing the service of the internal affairs of the Russian Federation. We provide services aimed at drafting documents to our citizens. Thank you, Timur. Yes, it is really very interesting, and it provides us.
While the Russian Federation was at lead, the CCI, National CCI, was actively working. And there were a lot of initiatives. We heard about the initiatives in terms of exhibition activities. And I would like to give the floor to the representative of the local business council for SEO and comment on the made suggestions. Thank you very much. I can hardly add anything because a lot of practices and initiatives are being held in Russia, and it majorly influences the development of the regions and the country. I would like to greet all the participants of the event on behalf of the Russian national part of the SEO Business Council, on behalf of our chairman. And unfortunately, a lot of events what we traditionally take part in, for example, in Sochi, in St. Petersburg, unfortunately, these events were cancelled, and we couldn't implement the exhibitions we were planning. But I'm glad that by the end of the year, we managed to implement such an important and effective event here in Ufa in Bashkortostan. And we are going to discuss SMEs issues and raise the problems that they face. Also, we are going to deal with the federal scale problems. So such a week is started with the SEO and BRICS forum. I guess that this platform is destined to be helpful. It is being conducted since 2015. I was here in 2015, and presidents of 15 countries came here, and they were representing almost half of the population of Earth. And after these summits, and the head of the region made us think how we can use this authority, this experience in settling practical problems. So such a platform revealed the weak point of the business on the local scale. We all are living in a single territory, and regions of our countries have pretty alike problems. It is the 6th time we are meeting, and we keep raising topical problems, and it means that the initiative made 5 years ago really revealed the actual topics for business, and we will always be focused on the cooperation between businesses and between the business and the government. We will have to study and borrow best practices and think how can we improve the legislation, the legal framework, the collaboration practices. Any country of the world can say something about the CCI network, and borrowing best practices of CCIs, we can provide to our businesses the most friendly environment and practical pieces of advice. The results of our forum a few years ago gave us the unified center of cooperation, and my colleagues will be able to share the cases from China and Russia. And I think that this is an applied system among forums. During the forum, we speak about general things, but after the forum is over, we issue a resolution, and this resolution can be regarded to as an illustration of topical points. We see how traditional communications is disrupted, how export and import are disrupted. We see how barriers arise in terms of hygiene, sanitary and medical regulations. And we are working on this. We work with stress, with XRs, in order to relieve some problems. Leaving alone the work that CCI network has been doing with fixation, with the recording of accidents. So I believe that the Center of International Cooperations throughout SCO, facilitated by the Council, have really good potential, and I guess my colleagues are going to share them. Thank you very much. The point is that really thanks to the Republic of Bashkortostan and their position at Mr. Hakimov, this forum turned into the platform for inter-regional cooperation, where certain projects are discussed and certain measures are taken, and it allows us to adopt suggestions made during the forum. And now this forum is the International Business Week. I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Alimov. He is the head of the Unified Center of Business Cooperation in Beijing. He is going to speak about the initiatives that are close to the Republic of Bashkortostan provided by the Russian Federation. Thank you very much. I hope a lot that my reception will not be disrupted. I'm saying hello from Beijing, and I would like to represent our Unified Center of Business Cooperation in Beijing. We aim at relieving the potential of economic cooperation in our region. Thank you for my presentation. What our center is, you have been already told by other speakers. To give a short outlook, it's an international platform created by the Business Council of SCO in order to provide a tool for facilitation and promotion of a dialogue among business representatives, as well as for facilitation of other spheres for SCO countries. I would like to point out that our center always spreads the equality principle, because it allows to work with various organizations for business purposes. For example, 16+1, ASEAN, and other communities, other unions that allow to work with Latin American countries and other international partners. In China, we have our center as a major tool for business facilitation. We focus on analytical researches. We conduct exhibitions for SCO families, 18 SCO countries. We speak about national and local economic development strategies. We are talking about the support measures for SCO family countries. We can speak about the introduction to the Chinese market. Our officers work with the Secretariat of the Business Council, with the Economic Department of the SCO Secretariat, and our center is supported by the head of the Secretariat. Our main tool, our main goal is the platform for business cooperation for businesses from SCO. We pay attention to the medical cooperation. We use SCO China Exhibition Center for our purposes. Why China? I guess you all know why. It is the first country for consumers' capabilities, and it is the biggest exporter. It's about $2.5 trillion of export per year. And that's why we think that there is some room for work. Our analytical department allowed to say that 13% of the turnover between China and SCO countries I must say that we prepare charts that help understand how China cooperates with other SCO countries. Of course, we all understand that now we work in the pandemic reality. Time is rapidly changing. We realize that we have to plan our future, and China is one of the first countries that comes to the mind because they were first one to overcome this struggle. They have a pretty significant prediction for GDP growth. I guess SCO countries find it important to initiate business relations, economic relations with new regions here in China. I'd like to emphasize our major project. It is the National Trading Platform. 2 sliders forward.
Multifunctional economic, commercial and economic platform for the SCO is located in Chengdu City. Why Chengdu? It has colossal economic advantages, such as the vast consumer market. Its population constitutes 33 million people. The commonalities are the area of Yangtze River. As for the international directions, we can see the logistics processes. This city is also the center of Western traditions and its integrations in world markets, and they are united in the economic ring. The president of Chengdu mentioned it in Bishkek in 2019. This city accommodated the meeting of the heads of the SCO states, and it also offered the digitalization of the SCO. It awaits all the participants of this panel session next year. Hopefully the borders will also be opened, and we will meet in Chengdu. Those who listen to us in Chengdu realize that Chengdu is located in the western part of China, in such countries as Vietnam, Thailand, Laos. The population constituting 33 million of people is comparable with the Republic of Uzbekistan. We compare one country and one republic. We also conducted 2 exhibitions. The first one took place in May 2019. The second, Chinese Republic, was involved, and there was also the trade fair accommodating more than 200 people. Alim, sorry. Thank you for this valuable information. It is virtually interesting, and we are discussing it. Alim, thank you for your information. We are highlighting the projects which were mentioned by Hamilham, and we mean the manual management of the projects which were represented at the platforms of the forum here in Ufa. I would like this subject to be continued by Alexander Burda, who is the head of the REC, but please be succinct. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, dear friends. Let me briefly outline the projects of cooperation in St. Petersburg. And now we are the center of business gravity, and we are discussing the projects for creating single business environment of the SCO. The tower of the SCO countries is implemented in St. Petersburg. And in this very project, I'm in the square of 60,000 meters, the skyscraper 65-meter high, where the negotiations will occur, and the special products and interests will be presented. Within the framework of the projects, we create the business incubator. Hopefully, it will be the business incubator of the SCO. It is jointly implemented with the business incubator of St. Petersburg, and it is supported by the city authorities. Hopefully, this project will be sought after and compatible with the International Technological Park in Tianjin. Let me also cover the wholesale distribution center, which is related to agriculture. It's a topical issue. It comprises 45 square meters, and it will be ready to receive the products from Turkey, Iran, and the Southwestern Asia. We realize that all these projects in single business environment must be filled with employees, with workforce. We implement the training and vocational programs aimed at employees jointly with the government of the RF. We create online and offline educational centers in the territory of Western Federal Region. But we may also participate in it, making joint projects of exchange while exchanging information. And we also create internet platforms for verifying our counterparties. In fact, the enterprises who are dealing with it can also implement their projects in our territory. Let me also reiterate that the following year is aimed at culture. While forging our workforce, we will also implement cultural projects. Now we are implementing the project jointly with the Academy of Repin and the Academy of Russian Ballet at Vaganova. This project is designed at creating the single business platform in the territory of the Chinese Republic. And many of our participants will be interested in joining this story. Well, thank you, Alexander. Thank you. We are really dealing with the fact that viable projects need real executors. We were also convinced that the CCI and the National Republican chambers are the key elements of this cooperation. Thus, Pavel, could you please add your proposals and initiatives to our presentation, being the member of the CCI of Eastern Asia? Sergey, dear colleagues, dear friends, good afternoon.
Let me introduce myself. I am the regional representative of CCI of Russia in Eastern Asia. Our office is in Beijing, so we don't have a speaker from China. So I will continue the topic initiated by Mr. Alimov. I will try to be brief with regards to the timing. We need to pay attention to the fact that this year Chinese economy has faced alteration, and these changes will define the further development of China for 10 or 15 years. These changes will influence also the trading and economical partners of China as well, both one-sidedly and two-sidedly. It was said before that the Chinese economy recovered. China this year is going to be the only large country of the world who will be able to maintain the positive GDP growth. One of the most important point of economic development is borders. China is trying to suppress the impacts and effects of the pandemic to sustain the economy. China was the first one to face the pandemic. That's why they will be the last one to open their borders. Firstly, I'm talking about the traveling by cars and passenger flights. And it will influence not only Russia. A lot of countries now face restrictions of car travels, I mean neighbors of China. Also, we face higher requirements to Chinese origin products, including food. All the supervision institutions pay special attention to the frozen food products imported. They suggest their own schemes for control of the quality and hygiene regulations. BRICS and SCO also introduce their solution, but this solution shall be adopted both-sidedly. It's clear that the new drivers of growth for the long-term perspective will be innovations and technologies. The infrastructure of the brand new type by 2025 will have been invested about $5.5 billion. This new program will allow SCO and BRICS countries to make a step forward. Our cooperation with this country will help to facilitate the sphere of personal data security and other security services. In general, a qualitative transformation is the result of the current situation in the world. Today, we have interrupted supply chains, decreased world demand, and the trading war between Beijing and Washington. But it doesn't matter how the US will be developing their business, our cooperation with China will go on. The world is developing various regulations for products, but we would like to have not only Chinese standards, but SCO-wide standards. We need to unify SCO legal framework. It means that we will use not only commonly applied international standards, but we need to adopt single food industry standards. It will allow us to improve our mutual cooperation. Thank you very much. Your initiatives say that SCO is still important. We have to listen to each other, understand each other. We shall not suppress the interests of our partners, and SCO institutes work in order to make interests equal. They work to match this interest. You know that there is a project, One Belt, One Path, and such programs help to find something in common, something that is beneficial for everyone. Dear colleagues, the experience can be gained, but it's always interesting to listen to a person who represents the experienced party. We would like to listen to Mr. Bendersky about the development of business development from the point of view of CCI in Kazakhstan. Thank you very much for giving me the floor. Good afternoon. I would like to have my presentation switched on. I would like to express my gratefulness to the organizing committee of the event for giving me a chance to speak on such an applied topic, such as tendencies of development of SMEs in the Republic of Kazakhstan. This is something that I like to point out, first of all, in figures, because they are really illustrative. We use the Bureau of National Statistics of Kazakhstan and Fund of Business Development in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan focuses on the development of SMEs because It is, on the first hand, a driver of economical growth, and secondly, it is the driver of political stability. Throughout the last year, we found the growth of SMEs number. We had about 1,600,000 businesses in our country, and it means that our medium business is 83%. It is 1,650,000 businesses. It means that its number is growing. Another chart shows the relative parameters of businesses. It accounts the number of individual entrepreneurs. The number of them is also growing. It is as intense as the number of agricultural farms. The subject of SME in absolute figures is the following. According to the previously listed parameters, we see the sustainable growth of the number. The sum of loans given to SME is 4 billion tenge. We majorly provide loans to 27% of businesses. And the amount of loans provided to individual entrepreneurs and small legal entities is about 111 contracts. The number of people who are involved in SMEs is about 3,400,000 people, and it is about 38.7% of the employed population of Kazakhstan. One of the key parameters for SMEs is its share in the GDP. So SMEs in Kazakhstan for the last accounted period is more than 31 billion tenge. It is estimated about 30% of the total GDP of the country, 2.5% over the last year parameters. What about the income taxes? We collected about 1 billion tenges of income taxes from SMEs. It is about 30% of the income tax overall, and it is also more than we had last year. After a few years of growth, we found the loan reduction in terms of conditions for SMEs, especially in smaller banks, because throughout the last year we have the loans taken for the sake of business or property.
And in conclusion, let us show another slide where we can see the dynamics of the industrial structure of the SME of Kazakhstan. And there are 5 core macro figures: the number of territories, the number of employed, corporate income tax, credit portfolio, and the product output. We can witness growth in terms of all the macro indicators in the area of commerce, transport, logistics, and connections. We witness growth. We can also see the increase in the number of employed and in the output, and thus the corporate income tax in the agricultural industry in paid. But we cannot say that the same things are happening in the area of construction, where the key market actors are prevailing. In conclusion, let me highlight that the crisis attributed to the pandemic of coronavirus, the SME is facing substantive economic hardship, which will result in the activity of the SMEs in 2020. We hope that the representatives of the SME will be able to halt their business activity while changing their business models due to their flexibility and the implementation of leading-edge technology. Thank you. It was truly interesting, and hopefully we will receive your presentation and represent it in the national part. Let me draw your attention to the fact that the SCO accommodates 18 countries. 8 member states and 10 observer states, but it is not a secluded club. It is the full-scale regional international structure which is exposed to cooperation with Asian countries, with Southeastern Asia. And as for the councils, in the economic domain, we are ready to cooperate in the domain of the SEO projects. You may join them. Yes, Vitaly, what is your opinion about the initiatives which we mentioned during our forum? Thank you. The floor is yours. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Let me express my gratitude to the Ministry of Economic Development, to all the speakers, to the CCI, to the Business Council of the SCO for organizing this superb event. I also have a presentation. Could you please display it? Well, that's my presentation. Well, dear colleagues, we have already covered a lot of ground in terms of changes in the economy and trade and foreign trade. It was instrumental to the SCO and BRICS, and the decline in the SCO countries' economies will constitute less than 2%. The trade turnover was curtailed by 4% compared to the previous year. Still, despite the pandemic, we are expanding economic cooperation of Russia and China. We are planning to upscale the volume of mutual trade and of investment by means of joint initiatives and projects. We are coordinating the positions within the framework of multilateral organizations, as well as such units as the SCO and BRICS. We are cooperating in the area of the SCO and BRICS, and the dynamics is more positive than the average one on the world. We're implementing critical and economical initiatives while entrenching the projects of multilateral economic cooperation of member states till 2035. It is designed to overcome negative trends in mutual trade, as well as substantive reinforcement of our links and cooperation in the banking and financial area, in transports, in energy, and in some other areas, to name a few. We have completed active concerted work in different directions of multilateral economic cooperation, including agriculture, digital technology, industry, energy, space research, customs, transport, environment protection, and interregional cooperation. In 2020, the critical factor of Russia-Chinese economic relations was the participation of Russia in BRICS and the SCO. We used the benefits of double presidency. This contributed to transforming the unities in the sample of in their role model of global and local administration. Now, the cooperation between Russia and China within the SCO and the BRICS is heralding a range of new opportunities in terms of investment and turnover. Large potential in the area of cross-border trade. Lots of members of the RAUIE are now trading in such Chinese services as Alibaba, Temu. It is a simple step aimed at increasing exports, which is partly subsidized by the Russian Export Center. The entrepreneurs who are members of the RAUIE have reached these substantive figures from scratch. And in dollars, it constitutes $1,500, and it is rather substantive in Moscow. Another growth factor is globalization of business and creating joint production chains. Many entrepreneurs reach their own ceiling, and they cannot promote sales without localization on the target market. The chamber allows us to streamline contract manufacturing and implement these projects in Asian countries. Yes, thank you for your presentation. Yes, we are not adhering to the time limit, and we have to move forward. Thank you, still, thank you. Thank you. If you send us your presentation, it will be disseminated to the participants of the national parts of the Business Council. If you have any questions, I am ready to answer them.
I think we've done a good job. We considered both results and conclusions of the small and medium business in SCO and BRICS. We sorted out some analytical points that were represented. We found the tendencies and presented certain projects. It is remarkable for our event that the event helped some projects find the tools for their further development. So I guess this event can be helpful in this term as well. I'd like to say thank you to the government of the Republic of Bashkortostan for an opportunity to arrange a platform for small and medium business within this forum. I'm grateful for this International Business Week. I'm grateful to Mr. Hakimov, who was the master of this venue and who is the master of the organization of this event. And I would like to invite you for the lunch. So let's meet at the lunch. Thank you. This is it. Thank you very much again. This is it.